Good evening, young Padawans and fellow Jedi throughout the land. It is I, once again, JT the Redneck, and we are back with two Ewoks in the park. This week, myself and Sully are going to be reviewing the last two, hopefully not the last two, but the last two episodes of Andor Season 1. Grab your adult beverage or something refreshing to drink, something to munch on, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Sully, guess what? It's all yours.
Oh, why, thank you, sir. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Two Ewoks in the Park. I'm Sully. Thank you for that wonderful intro, JT, as always. I love how you ad-lib the entire thing and pretty much keep it to the span of 30 seconds, because, you know, hey, why not? Ah, yes. Two Ewoks in the Park. We are live, and boy, whew, was this a great season of Star Wars or what?
Yes, it was. We are alive, unlike several residents of Ferric.
Yeah. People on Ferrix, we had some issues.
That's a little bit of a beating this week, they did.
We had some issues, and we were discussing things behind the scenes as always, because, you know, that's what we do, you know.
Gotta talk about something before the show starts.
Fire Sergeant says, I'm ungrounded now. I'm back. LOL. Well, I'm glad you're ungrounded. I don't know why you got grounded, but
it was probably our fault.
Then it probably happened on the Sully show, and we apologize for that. Not really.
No, we don't.
Not really. But glad to have you, Sergeant, as always. So thanks for tuning in. Like JT said, we are going to be talking about episodes 11 and 12 of Andor. So if you haven't watched it yet, spoilers, as always. Spoilers, as always. I mean, technically, the show's been off the air for, what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks now?
Something like that.
2 weeks. But yeah, I got to admit, probably one of the greatest shows involved in Star Wars that did not have anything to do with the Jedi or the Skywalkers that I absolutely 100% enjoy.
You know, and that's the thing for me too. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the Jedis. I love Skywalker. Absolutely. I love the core group of characters and all that, you know. But seeing the outside, seeing the fringe, as I've been calling it since we started doing this,
the outer rim,
fringe edge of the alliance or of the rebellion.
Yes,
and how it really got started, and especially how Andor or Cassie, whatever you want to call him, how he played into all of this and how he really got into the rebellion.
Oh yeah, and it's been fantastic.
It has.
It's a great spy show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like you've been saying all along, you know, it kind of stayed right on, you know, your traditional spy type movies, but at the same time, it wasn't.
It's a little twist.
You know, it did that. Oh, what a twist!
It's got that Star Wars
every episode.
That Star Wars feeling / twist, and that's the beauty of it. Is it's got that twist. Now, with that being said, episode 11, the Daughter of Ferrix is the title of it. And clearly, we can already see where it's going, because Daughter of Ferrix is obviously referring to Andor's mother, who had passed away. And whoa!
I love how they started out. You got Cassian and the other guy hanging off the edge of a cliff.
Yes.
You know, I mean, it's the kind of cliff that, you know, the Rangers had to climb at Point du Hoc during World War II.
We're gonna fall.
You know, and the guy that's with him, I don't think, did we ever get a name for him?
Yes, Ruscott Melshi.
Okay, so
Ruscott
Rue
Melshi. And you know what? This is the funny thing, and I'm glad you brought that up.
Mhm.
Every single character that's on screen, doesn't matter who it is, doesn't matter if they talk, doesn't matter if they interact with the main characters, every single one of them has a name. It's never guy at the bar or
Right.
prisoner 4. No,
Right.
they all have names.
And that's unusual. That is highly unusual, because most credits when you watch them, you see, you know, guy at bar 1, guy at bar 2, girl at bar
Yeah.
1, you know, and those kind of things. And you know, with this one, its name is all the way through, which is a very good point.
Yeah. Now the
But-
other thing is with Melshi, and it's just easier to call him that because I can remember Melshi.
I'm just gonna call him Rue.
Well, then you're kind of tying together with the Hunger Games, and we don't want to associate with that.
I don't care.
Oh no,
You call him what you want. I'm
Prue.
gonna call him Rue.
That's Prue. That's right, Prue. My bad.
Yes.
Well, anyway, he is a sergeant in the rebellion, so you know he does make his career.
Yeah,
so to speak.
and his appearance in this episode is very, very short lived.
Yeah, but I have a
take-
feeling we're going to see him down the line again.
I don't think so either. Although we might
Well,
hear about him.
No,
we might hear about him.
We do see him down the line because he actually dies on Scarif in Rogue One.
Okay, but I'm talking about in this show.
No, yeah,
So,
in this season, I don't think we're going to see him again.
No,
we may
but, you
see
know,
him.
They start out with the two of them hanging off the edge of the cliff, you know,
Yeah.
and he's like, I can't hold on, I can't feel my fingers, I can't, tell me they're leaving, you know, and all this crap. It's like, dude, are you a wimp or what?
Well, I mean, they were pretty high up.
Yes, they were. They were hanging very precariously. It looked like completely by their hands.
And they, you know, it was cold.
Mhm. And they're still in their prison garb, you know, and that kind of thing. But then, you know, they get to they finally get back up to the top of the cliff.
Yes.
You know, and everything. And then they see two fishermen, I guess they were. Is that what you would call them? Would be fishermen?
Yeah, fishermen. But you
Yeah.
got to remember, at the same time, the Empire's kind of doing their thing
Mm-hmm.
of, hey.
Yeah, because we saw the one ship that went over. It looked like they were trying to maybe scouting, you know, or looking for prisoners or whatever.
Yeah, and the one thing I will admit, and this is what I love about these shows,
Mhm.
they're using all the old, like,
The old style ships.
not just the old style ships, but the designs.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know, whatever they didn't use in the first movies, that's
Right.
what they're using as the actual ships. And I'm
Well, I mean,
loving it because
Yeah, the quad jumper. When it was the last time you saw a quad jumper in any Star Wars?
yeah. Well,
No, I
not
mean-
just that though. You know, for example, you have the TIE fighters. Now the TIE fighters, clearly we know the TIE fighters. Everybody knows what they look like. They all
Right.
have the different shapes, and they've used different variations of TIE fighters throughout the years when it comes to the overall design of things.
And- and-
But in this case, you have the TIE Reaper,
right.
which, you know, I do have it up on the screen. You can see what it looks like. The TIE Reaper, it's missing, you know, your vertical fins, your vertical wings.
Right.
But it's also missing that third wing of other versions of TIE fighters that we've seen. So,
Well, and we saw even another different version of a TIE fighter. At least it's a different version for me than what I've seen. But I can't talk about that one until we talk about. I'll just say
you
the tractor
know,
beam.
you know, you can't see that. No, not
Can't
yet.
talk about that yet, just yet.
Not yet.
But not yet. But we will.
But it's coming.
So obviously Cassian and Rue are trying to find a way to get the hell out of Dodge.
We need to get out of
You
here.
know, we need to get the fuck off this planet is what we need to do. And and they spot these two fishermen, and they see that they've got an old quad jumper over there, and it's like, okay, we're gonna steal their ship.
We're gonna steal it and make it our own.
And I knew something was up. I knew something was up because when Rue and Cassian took off and they were running towards the ship,
yep,
the two fishermen guys, they saw them right off. I mean, almost instantaneously.
We're gonna
but
get
they
you.
didn't do anything. They just stood there and watched. And I'm like, in my head, I'm going, okay, either there's somebody on the ship that's going to blow them the hell away, or at least blow Rue away, or there's something else going on, aka in Obi-Wan, where he had the security system on his cave.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. And I was right. I love the freaking dripping wet spider web nets.
Oh yeah, where
that whatever this thing was shot out at them and grabbed them. And I'm like, now that was cool. And it hit them hard too. I mean, it just knocked them right the hell over. And I'm sitting there in my chair, kind of laughing to myself.
It kind of
because I'm going. God damn it! I'm turning into Sully.
But didn't it remind you of when Thor gets electrocuted in Thor Ragnarok?
Yeah.
It's like, down.
But I'm sitting there. It's like, God damn it! I'm turning into Sully because I'm predicting shit that's gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, don't you hate that? Happens to me on a daily basis, no matter what.
Right. Yeah, we both kind of hate ourselves, don't we?
Yeah.
But then, the fishermen come over and they're talking to him and they're, what do we do? Are we going to kill him? What are we going to do with him? Blah, 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 and everything. And then they realize, oh, these guys are against the Empire.
Yeah.
Why don't we help? Why don't we help them?
You're free to go.
Yeah, I mean, the soaking wet spider monkey fire webs or whatever the hell they are get retracted back into the machine.
Fire in the hole.
Like they were never even there.
Yeah, that was
it's like somebody hit reverse.
We need more technology like that.
And they give them a ride off the planet. They give them a ride and they take them back to the planet where Cassian got arrested.
Yeah.
Which I thought, I'm like, wait a minute, why would he? Oh, that's right. He goes back into the apartment that he was living in with the thing.
Where somebody else is now living.
Right. And I thought that was funny. He sneaks in and he gets his box.
That's his
that
box.
He had stashed on top of the shower.
Yeah.
They finally showed us what was in there because he opens it up and he pulls out one of the gold clips and puts it back
had
in
his
and
stuff.
everything. And he gets it and he gets the hell out of Dodge. But I like how they basically ended Rue's existence for now.
Yeah.
I think
they went their separate ways.
Yeah, they ended up going their separate ways, but I liked what he said before he left. And the reason I say if he himself doesn't actually make a reappearance in the Andor series, if they have season 2.
Yep.
His name will come up. And the reason being is because of what he said, which was, we have to tell them. Somebody has to tell them what is going on.
Yes. Absolutely.
And I love that message. I love how they ended that with him and everything. Cassian gives him his gun, shakes his hand, and
be gone, heathen.
Yeah, be gone, heathen. And they go their separate ways, and that's it for Rue.
For now.
He's done for now.
For now.
Yeah, he's not dead. He's not dead.
For now, because again, we do see him in Rogue One.
Right.
He's a part of the team in Rogue One. So Will that be the last of him in the series? Probably not. I think we'll see him again. You know?
And like I said, if we don't actually see him, we will hear about him.
Yeah. And while that's going on, we got Supervisor Miro up to her stuff on Ferrex, and she's planning on using the funeral of Marva to kind of fish out Axis and fish out Andean, not Andean, wow, Cassian.
You combine his first name and his last name.
Andean. It's just a mash of what we're going to do. You see?
I like that.
Just gonna mash it all together and then just spew it out.
Yeah, just call me Andy.
So obviously they plan on holding a funeral, but the Empire's only giving them a certain time to do this, and that's turning heads on Ferrex big time. Because they have a whole tradition that they do on Ferrex.
Right. And it's weird because, with her and, her, the post commander and all that shit, they're talking about what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And he's like, they're going to want to do it at noon. We're going to make, we're going to make them push it back. We're going to limit the number of people that they can have, which they're not going to be happy about. Which actually later on turns out to be they gave them permission for 30, but the Jesus Christ, the daughters of Cassian, there we go, or not Cassian, daughters of Ferrex. I'll get there. Just give me a minute. The daughters of Ferrex raised hell about it, so they moved it from 30 people that could attend to 40.
Yes.
Wow, a whole 10 more people.
Yay. So, well,
back to you, sir.
From there, though, we're also seeing a lot more. I don't want to say like the hand gripping the pole, making things tighter for them, but it is happening. The Empire does not want anything to go wrong when it comes to this funeral, but they're also trying to use it to their advantage. And at the same time, Velsartha, if you remember her, she's the one that orchestrated, well, I don't want to say orchestrated, but led the campaign for the heist.
Right.
She makes it to Coruscant and meets up with, what's her name there? Clea? No, Clea.
Okay, Clea. Okay,
Clea, because she's in Luthen's antiquities shop.
Right.
And Clea does her thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just as good as Luthen does. And I mean just as good.
Oh, yeah.
I have a feeling we're going to see Clea as a major factor of things in the future. What that's going to be, I'm not 100% sure. But she handled everything that Luthen does to a T.
Yep.
Maybe even better.
Yep.
Maybe even better, because I was pretty impressed with that.
Yeah, I mean, the way, when she came into the shop and everything, and Clea's like,
you can't be here.
This is against the rules.
You can't be here.
You're not supposed to be here in the first place.
How dare you?
Where is he? Well, he's not here.
He's off planet.
He's out getting some nookie,
Which in this case obviously is way off protocol for what they're trying to do. And that's when Vel tells Clea about Cassian's mother's death, which good and bad idea. Especially since they're out to kill him to begin with.
Right.
Good and bad idea. Good and bad idea. Because that's one of those things where he's going to try and make it home. No matter what. That's his mom. And he made a promise in the earlier episodes that whatever happens, he will make it home.
Yeah, I was just going to say that he had made that promise, and now that he knows he's dead, which he found out just before Rue and him went their separate ways.
Yep.
Um, when he found that out, it was you know right then and there, and
Yeah.
that's why the Empire is doing the secret buildup and everything on Barracks and all that because
It's
they want
gonna
to try
be
and trap him. They
interesting.
want to catch him
We're gonna
because they think
kill.
they can get to Axis, the guy they're calling Axis, through Cassian.
Yeah. Which,
So
to me, at the time of watching, I'm like, bad idea. Bad idea. I was just like, nope, bad idea. Not gonna.
mm-hmm.
This is gonna be the worst thing that they could possibly do. The worst thing that they
Yeah,
could possibly do.
yeah. I myself, I'm going Cassian. Don't even go back to the freaking planet.
Don't do it. Kind of like, it's kind of like saying, I like to reference it as the blonde bimbo running up the stairs in a horror film. You just don't do it. You go out the door because you know if you go out the door, at least you're safe or safer. But if you go
Right.
upstairs, duh. Shit's gonna hit the fan and you're not gonna like it.
Yeah, and I mean, I was sitting there a lot of times, and more in episode 12 than in episode 11. More times than not, I'm sitting here. You'd think I was watching a horror movie because I wanted to scream at the screen. Don't go in there.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
So it was interesting.
You don't want to do it. At the same time, Cinta and Corv are interrogating Bix. They're torturing her. They're doing whatever they need to. They're reflecting on everything that's been going on with the interrogation. And Bix is just doing what she needs to. She's basically in survival mode now.
I liked what the guy said because at first he's very courteous. He's like, "Would you come with me?"
Yep.
And he escorts her to the room and everything, and he goes, "Now I'm going to ask you some questions, and if I don't feel that your answers are honest, then I'm going to have to bring the doctor back in."
It's going to be a little crazy.
And in this situation, that is the perfect threat
Yes.
because the doctor is where the screams come from.
Yeah.
And she doesn't want to have to go through that again.
Yeah.
I don't blame her. I don't blame her at all.
And that's no bueno.
Right.
That's no bueno to begin with, but it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen. Well,
Yes, it is.
at that same time, we have Mon Mothma on Coruscant. She's doing a little cleanup, so to speak, or at least trying to. She's got a little bit of a struggle going on. You can see that she's starting to lose it with the life that she's currently living.
Right.
You can see like everything's starting to crash down, and she's trying to hold it together.
And it's the financial thing. It's the financial
Yeah.
problem. It's the 400,000 mark or 400,000 credits
Yeah,
that she has to try to account for before the Empire's financial
Yeah.
people come through and check her banking stuff
yeah.
and say, hey, where's these
Well-
400,000 credits?
Well, you also have her daughter Lita is starting to go through old school courtship. And this is one of the other things that I love about Star Wars is they bring a lot of the old, like Renaissance type things, old westerns, like serials, samurai, like all those different genres all into one when it comes to Star Wars. So they're at a point where, yes, even though Mon Mothma is a senator, she's technically royalty.
Right.
So when that happens, depending on where they're from, they go old school and they bring up the courtship rituals. They bring up weddings and stuff like that. Hey, you're going to get married to this family and you're going to like it. Because if your family joins my family, well, we're stronger together. And oh, by the way, they got a big freaking army. That type of thing. So
Right.
we see that happening, and Mothma's against it. She didn't want this, but it's happening. It's happening. So you can see she's starting to lose control a little bit. And the lead is like, well, I'm a grown woman. I can make my own decisions. She wanted that. Right. So now she's got the family struggle going on as well as the financial struggle going on. And it's just one of those things where you're like, okay, what's going to happen next?
She's got those two, and she's got the third struggle of the rebellion stuff going on.
Yes, absolutely. Which also ties to the mission on Aldani, where she explains that funds were frozen and this is what's causing it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when she starts to admit that 400,000 credits are gone and so on and so forth. So there's a lot going on. And
I love how she comes up with the idea, and I'm not going to say what it is right now, but I love the way she comes up with the idea of how to have an excuse.
Oh, yeah.
If they come at her about the 400,000 credits.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Perfect. It was
beautiful. I'm like, that's sneaky.
Oh, it was more than sneaky, that's for sure.
It's downright underhanded is what that is.
Yeah. More than sneaky. More than sneaky. During this time, we've also got Cyril Karn. He's doing what he needs to do in order to talk to his former employees because they know something's going on. So messages are going back and forth. They're talking via video, and it's that old school. Hi, I found it. Scrambledness, but you understood what was going on. You know, they
had an idea anyway.
Yeah, he was on Ferrix. They found information about Andor's mother. Basically, you know, this is what's going to go on. That point, we also see Luthen meet up with Saw Gerrera again. Only this time, things are a little... What's the word I'm looking for here?
A little bit more tense.
A little tense. A little on edge.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting, to say the least. And it finally gets to the point where he's like, listen, you're either with us or you're against us. Which one's it going to be?
Right. Well, Saw Gerrera is like, are you ISB?
Yeah.
Are you either you're ISB or you have somebody planted inside my group? Who is it? Who is it? Who is it?
Who is it? Damn it.
And he's like, it's him.
Yeah.
Dude's like, wow, wait a minute. What the hell are you talking about? I wanted to fall out of my chair on
it. It was great, though, wasn't it? It was like,
it was awesome.
Him. And the other guy's like, what? No, it was not me. No. It wasn't. He was very specific and on point, and it just goes to show you what type of mastermind Luthen really is.
Mm-hmm.
He has, and this is just from the last scene of the last episode, he has absolutely no remorse. He doesn't have any remorse whatsoever, because he's at that point in time where he's the future for him isn't going to exist.
Right. Well, and if you think back to the conversation that he had with his plant inside the ISB,
yes,
when he was on the elevator, you know, and that's what he said. I've given up everything.
I'm done.
You know, I'm done for. I might as well be dead.
Yep.
But while I'm still alive, I'm at least going to fight. I'm going to do something. I'm going to stand up to these people. I'm going to try to get everybody organized. You know, and everything else. So suck it up, Buttercup.
Yep.
You know, because you ain't giving up squat compared to what I've given up in my life. You know, but if you think about that and you apply that to the situation in these two episodes, it makes complete and total sense.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But here's the thing: he's also a master manipulator.
Oh, without a doubt.
He manipulated the shit out of Saw Gerrera in this scene. He
was like,
manipulated the living daylights out of him.
It was perfect.
It was beautiful.
It was like, holy shit, he actually did it.
Whoever came up with that scene, I would not want to be on the opposite side of an issue with them.
Oh, yeah, definitely not.
I mean, the way, just how quick, how perfectly, and how smoothly, and without even trying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was like
manipulated him the way he did was simply amazing. It really, really was.
It was like taking a butter knife and just scraping the top of the butter.
Taking a hot butter knife.
Yeah, and just like right through. And it just melted right, and he fell right for it.
One swipe of the paintbrush, just and the entire canvas changed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and absolutely.
It happened so quickly that if you almost miss it.
Yeah.
But then the reason I really caught it was because they showed the look on Mascarera's face.
Yeah.
You know, he had this look like,
shit. What
the hell just happened?
Yeah. What? Wait a second. Well, from there,
what happened to me?
From there, you know, they tell them that, you know, if this was going to be a trap, he would have walked into it and so on and so forth. But he's already at the point where Gerrera's like, okay, yeah, I'm going to sacrifice this guy in order to help out because we're going to need to.
Well, yeah, and that was the interesting thing because that's what he came to Saw Gerrera about.
Yep.
He contacted, Saw Gerrera contacted him and said, hey, we need to talk. I want to go ahead and do this raid, blah, 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 and everything else.
It'll be fun.
And they had gotten information that the Empire knew about it and were setting up a trap for them.
Yeah.
And he's like, look, there's two ways that we can go about this. We can sacrifice the 30 guys and what's his name and let the Empire think that they are the baddest asses in the entire universe.
Or
which will cause them to once again become complacent.
Yep.
Become complacent, excuse me. Or you join the attack and all it's going to do is put them on our ass like think on shit, basically.
Yeah. And all hell's going to break loose.
Yeah, so which way would you prefer to go?
Which means more people are going to die, and we don't want that.
Right.
We need to have all of that.
Ultimately, they agree to sacrifice the 31 people.
Yep.
Because and I think this is where the line comes from. Saw Gerrera said it. It's for the greater good.
For the greater good. Let it go. Let it go.
But I love what he said because he looked Saw Gerrera straight in the face and said, that's what you want to call it.
Sure. If that's what you want to call it. Because he
was like, damn.
Because he knows. He knows that deep down, yeah, if they're saying it's the greater good, sure, it's the greater good. But he knows firsthand there is no greater good until the Empire's gone.
Right.
And he's never going to see it.
Yeah. And he already talked about that in his speech.
Yeah.
With the plant in the ISB.
So, obviously from there, we have a little bit of an issue. He reaches to Clea, tells him about the successful sale, or, speaking with Saw Gerrera. But at the same time, Clea's telling him, there's something else going on. We have a little bit of an issue here. You need to get back to the store because we need to sell something.
Right.
Because protocol was broken. and there's a possibility of some consequences happening. Also known as the guy that they were going to try and kill survived. He's still alive. His mother's dead. And, oh, by the way, he's probably going back.
Oh, and also, by the way, what's her name showed up and, caused all kinds of, broke all the freaking rules in the book and then some. So we got to deal with her too.
Yes.
And that's the thing, in this kind of an atmosphere.
Yes.
It is so easy for things to go off the rail. It is so easy for the plan to get derailed.
Very
it's just
quickly.
Like, it's just like the old saying goes in the military. The most perfectly laid plan is only the most perfectly laid plan until the first shot gets fired.
And then all bets are off.
When the first shot gets fired, all hell breaks loose.
All bets are off.
And yes, this is what you're supposed to do and everything else, but you know what? There's nothing that's going to say that the enemy is going to cooperate with what you want to do.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to wipe them out. So, the best laid plan never survives first contact.
Also true.
A way you can shorten that up.
Which in this case, Luthen is now trying to escape for his life because, the Empire is after him. Trying to blow him up. He's got he tells his droid to send out a transponder ID that's from Alderaan, which I thought was a really good tie because that just means he's got a shit ton of IDs in that ship of his.
You look at the AI in that ship.
That was so cool.
The AI in that ship was simply amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, the computer basically ran the whole thing. He came up with the ship code and everything by itself.
Oh yeah.
He armed the defense systems and booted them up and got them ready to go and all of this stuff. And the only thing that he had to do was flip two switches.
Yep, two switches and tell it what to do.
So you think about that. This computer system is doing everything basically for this ship by itself.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you think about that, the AI
technology
that this ship has is mind blowing.
Yeah.
If you really think about it, which I try not to because I have little enough mind left in here. I don't want to lose it.
Yeah. And then of course from there we've got Andor, calling what is it? Zanwan? I think it is Zanwan. He one of his friends on Ferrix telling him to let his mother know that he's okay. And that's when he finds out that she is gone. And that the funeral is the day after tomorrow or something like that. It's
right.
Within 2 or 3 days. And that's when him and Melshi go their separate ways. And he decides that he's going back to Ferrix. And I love how they ended this episode. Because they ended it with Andor looking over the ocean. Watching the sun set. And the waves of the ocean, which
is what you would normally do after you found out that somebody so important to you has passed away.
Yeah,
you're going to sit there and you're just going to stare out into nothingness and think about them.
And it's, if you think about it, there's a couple of different meanings when it comes to this. One, the sun is setting, so that chapter is now closing.
Right.
But
very symbolic. Very, very symbolic.
But it's also very symbolic of what happens to him in Rogue One.
True.
Where he ends up dying on the beach because the Death Star decided to go, hey, here's 25% power. Boom! You're all dead.
Because the harness power of the sun was shot down into the planet that he was on and was blowing it up.
I still think they could have survived, but that's just me. Jump in the water. So I love.
as fast as that waves was moving, I don't think so.
Oh yeah, no,
But anyway,
they were dead. They
yeah.
died. The thing with the thing with that battle is just about everybody died on that planet.
Yeah, yeah.
At least in that section, you know.
Unless you happen to be on a ship.
Yeah, well, some of them even
Well, yeah, but you had
little whoopsie.
thousands. You had 1,000 times better chance of surviving if you were in a ship than if you were on the ground.
True, you did. So,
but yeah, the way they ended it was multi meaning.
Yeah,
But was very, very cool, and like you said, it just kind of it brought an ending to a lot of chapters.
Yep.
To a lot of things that were going on. Close those out, and episode 12 opens the book back up to a whole
new ball game.
A whole new ball game, a whole new storyline.
Whole new ball game.
How things are going to go. I gave this episode like I'll say a 4.25.
We do that at the end.
No, we do it. We do a quick one in the beginning.
No,
we can do them all. But I'm at 4.25
at the end because I do both. We've been doing both of them to kind of speed things up. Which, speaking of the next chapter,
talk about speeding things up.
Rick's Road. Episode 12, Rick's Road. And man, let me tell you. Now, mind you, JT usually talks to me about the episode right after he sees it. But this entire series, we haven't been doing that. We haven't. And we did that for a reason. And the reason being is we wanted to air our opinions and our grievances and all of that good stuff for the show. Specifically for this one, because I was so many episodes ahead of him when it came down.
You don't like the entire series.
Yeah. Now, with that being said, this episode, and I'm sure you'll agree with me on this episode definitely paved the way for season 2.
Oh, without doubt. And I honestly believe that is exactly why they did it the way they did. And that's why I gave the what I said just a minute ago was the end of episode 11 was them closing out all of these storylines, the almost dozens of storylines that they had going, and closing all of them out.
Yes.
And it's like this was the end of Cassian being Cassian, the guy on the outside.
The loner, the survivor.
Who's trying to, throw sneak punches, little hit and run type attacks against the Empire, and then run away, to him turning into an entirely different person.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
By the end of this episode. So, and this entire episode was just like you said, opening up and setting everything up. I don't think they could have done it any better.
Yeah.
To almost force season 2 to happen.
Yeah. And the fact that, clearly the last episode of Andor looking over at the sunset and the waves crashing on the beach was the chapter closing of his mother, and the Empire only giving Ferrix 1 block to perform the funeral.
Right.
Well, clearly, Andor wasn't having that because he wanted to be there for his mother's funeral. And it was...
Yeah, I would be too.
Just like a good son would be. Now, mind you, he is a wanted man, so there's just so much that he can do, and he would have to hide. His buddy Wilman Pack was working on some machinery at the shipyard there that he works in. And
how long did it take you to figure out what he was working on?
Oh, it really did not.
How long did it take you to figure out what he was making?
Yeah, it really did not take me very long to figure that out. I had a feeling that it was going to happen. Um,
The first scene, I was like, "What in the hell is he? What the fuck is he doing?"
yeah,
But
that,
in the second one that they showed, I was like,
yeah, with Willman, now mind you, he's a younger kid. He's probably in his early 20s,
right, and
give or
he is
take.
the son of the pack that they were talking about that was in the room when they brought Bix in
Yes,
back in episode 9.
yes, who died.
Right.
So clearly, we know what his son is up to.
He's not happy.
You kind of put two and two together and you say to yourself, oh, someone's going to die.
Yeah, but if I do it, I put 2 and 2 together and wonder how the hell it equaled 5. But it always comes out right,
It really does. It's crazy.
especially in Star Wars.
Well, at the same time, Miro returns back to Ferrix because shit's going to hit the fan. She knows it's going to hit the fan. And they what was it? They were talking about the death of some troopers, right? I think it was some stormtroopers. Oh no, sorry, it wasn't regular troopers. It was death troopers. Those are the stormtroopers that are dressed all in black.
Yep.
Those are the ones that can hit targets.
Yes.
Those are also the ones that you don't want to mess with.
The ones in black and the ones in red, stay the hell away.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. What's the best way I can probably paint the picture for the death troopers?
The baddest MFers on the planet.
Yeah, and are handpicked by Darth Vader.
Yeah, crack shots.
They are. Whew, they are the elite stormtrooper.
There you go.
They can hit it. They can actually hit their target.
Mm-hmm.
They have different targeting computers in their helmets.
Although I will say,
Yeah.
and we'll get into this, but at the end of this episode, the stormtroopers weren't doing too bad.
No, they really weren't. They were actually
They really weren't. They were pretty accurate.
They were doing pretty good. I will give them that, you know. And the other thing with the Death Troopers is they're good with the wonderfulness of spy work, espionage, stealth. They can get in and out, which is why they wear black, not white.
Right.
Because it blends in a lot easier. So we've got a couple of them walking around, and obviously Captain Tigo is, you know, hey, everything's ready. Would you like some dinner? The important things. And she said, nope. I want to see.
I'm going to go for a walk.
Gonna go for a walk, and I'm going to see what's going on. But we also see Cassie in the shadows. We see him doing what he needs to do. He also goes to the brick that they used, that they put her ashes in and put into the wall.
No, I think if you think back to when Cassian was first picked up by his mother, the guy that was with her, the black guy that was with her, he was during this time he was listening to tapes of things that the guy had said, because they hadn't placed her stone yet. Because if you remember, towards the end of the episode, he's carrying that stone. So I think he's touching the stone of, I guess, his father
or
his
siblings,
father, or whatever, you know.
Yeah,
I think that was his stone.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, you're probably right.
If you think about it, when he was touching the stone, the flashback that they did was him talking to him.
Yes.
They were cleaning the equipment and everything, remember? Yeah. 500 credits for one, you know, a pop and that kind of thing. So I think that was his stone that he was at.
Yeah, you know what? I think you're right. I think you're right on that. We'd have to double check, but I think you're right.
Well, and like I said, they haven't placed her stone yet.
Yeah.
They hadn't placed her stone yet, so it has to be his.
So from there, we travel back to Coruscant during this whole thing, and this is the part JT really likes, because with everything going on in Mon Mothma's life at the moment, between the daughter and the courtship, the 400,000 credits missing, so on and so forth.
Stuff with the rebellion
And the Rebel Alliance and all that good stuff. And I'm sure, JT, you had a big grin on your face when this happened. Clearly, we needed to know where that $400,000 was coming from. And
we got the answer in one simple question.
Well, before that, before that one question, the one thing you also have to remember is the current driver, was specifically handpicked to spy on Mon Mothma.
He's an ISB plant.
He's an ISB plant, and he's there specifically to gather intel because they think that she's part of the Rebel Alliance.
Right.
While they're in the car, she says to the driver, "Please give us some privacy." Clearly, that privacy is bugged because the entire limo is bugged. And she tells her husband all about the gambling issues that he has. Ruh-roh.
He's at the bar at a party or whatever, and he comes out and he gets in the car and he starts talking, and we'd like some privacy.
Yep.
That's what he got to do.
Yep.
And she turns around and looks at him and goes, "You're gambling again."
Yeah.
And as soon as she said that, I'm like, "Oh, beautiful. That's perfect.
It works."
It's a beautiful way to explain how 400,000 credits disappeared.
Yeah, it works. Because if you think about it, 400,000 credits are missing. He did it.
And it's not that hard to wait, to lose 400,000 credits when you're gambling.
Yeah, no.
You can lose that on one bet.
Yeah.
So the way that she came up with that plan was beautiful. And of course, he's not gambling, but it works.
Oh yeah. Oh, it worked all right. Woo.
I mean, he can deny it all he wants because they've already gone through this once. Way back in the past, he made a promise to her that he would stop gambling. Well, guess what?
How dare you, sir?
I'm about to play you like a broken record player. And that's exactly what she does.
Yeah. Well,
one of the coolest moments in the entire series, in this entire season. One of the coolest moments was right there.
Oh, hands down.
Yeah.
Hands down. I mean, that's the beauty of it. It was just like one of those, scapegoat.
Exactly. Dude, but you screwed.
But she also told him to bring his gambling off world and bring it to Canto Bight. And if you don't know what Canto Bight is, that is actually the gambling world that was in The Last Jedi, right? Yeah, The Last Jedi, in Star Wars The Last Jedi. So now we're tying to way into the future on this gambling homeworld because, well, let's face it, it's kind of like the Las Vegas of the galaxy. Yeah. Go do your gambling there. I don't want to see it here in my house, not on Coruscant. Get out.
It was also in Mandalorian.
Yes, they mentioned it in Mandalorian too. Yep.
But they had a scene. Didn't they have a scene on there where uh they went to the laboratory guy's place? I know they did. I know they did a full scene on there.
Did they?
Because he parked on the other side of the bridge. I am almost 100% positive.
Maybe.
It was season 2.
Maybe. I don't know if they actually did that. I mean, the planet is referenced a lot through the novels and whatnot. So,
see, now the more you got me questioning myself, I'm starting to think maybe it was one of the Avengers ones. Damn it!
You're welcome.
I hate you. So confident.
Yeah, it's mentioned in this episode, Rick's Road. I'm just looking it up right now. You've got it mentioned in a lot of the books or the comics. Star Wars Adventure Annual Comic, Do On Batu, Luke on the Bright Side, Bounty Hunters 14. So, no, you're right. You're right. Here you go. Mandalorian, Chapter 6, The Prisoner. So, good job. But it's only mentioned. It's not shown.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. No, you were right. Listen, I didn't doubt you. I just wanted we're doing the pie. We have to make sure.
You didn't doubt me, but you questioned me.
I did question because I wasn't 100% sure, but you were absolutely right. See, I give credit where credit is due. So
yeah. The bad thing is I'm still in the negative.
Oh, come on. You're getting to the positive eventually. So from there, we've got a lot of things happening. Whew, a lot of things happening. We've got Sirtha. She's meeting up with Cinta Kaz. We got people on the run. We've got things happening. We've got Andor in hiding, but wanting to attend his mother's funeral. And Bix is, still in prison, so to speak. She's still being tortured, which is oh so wonderful. And we see Miro kind of trying to set a trap. But what happens is not what the Empire thinks. And this is where the ego comes in of, hey, we're the Empire. We're going to do what we need to do. And you know what? We're going to pull one over on you.
Yep.
But if you think about it, this whole thing is a big F you. They mention that Krieger, he's the one that Saw Gerrera is basically going to sacrifice. His entire team was killed. They can close the case. They can move on. They can do what they need to do. It was kind of like kind of like them sacrificing a pawn on the chessboard.
Right. They're like, see, we handled them. Because this was the raid on the power plant where the 31 people were sacrificed that we talked about earlier.
Yes.
And they're like, see, not even a blip on the map.
Yes.
But at the same time, the big guy, who's he talking to? The bitch on Ferrix.
Yes.
And what does he say? You want to start a conversation? Find Axis.
Find Axis and do what you need to do because the Emperor wasn't too pleased with what has happened in the past. So, obviously the Emperor does exist. We know he exists. But now they're starting to mention it, the Emperor a little bit more now in this type of situation.
I'm truly surprised that they didn't have him even make a cameo in this series. I was truly surprised about that.
I don't think we're going to see him.
And I thought they did. I thought they did for a minute because when the ship lands, I I don't know what the hell planet it was on, but it was really dark. It looked like an industrial type planet or
Yep.
something. The ship that they came in, was the one that the Emperor flew. Was the same kind as what the Emperor flew around in,
Yes.
with the fold up wings, and the two wings and the big tail wing, and the wings folded up. It's the same
Yes.
kind of ship. And I'm like, ooh, is it gonna be? Are we gonna see a cameo from Darth maybe? And no, it was just her.
So even with that, I don't think they're going to do that, only because they want to stay away from Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
Could we
Think so?
potentially see him? Yeah, maybe. Everybody knows about him. He's there.
Yeah, it's not like nobody knows who he is.
But I think that would ruin the scene in Rogue One where we do see Darth Vader, throughout the movie, and then him going after the princess's ship and then tying into A New Hope. I feel like it would give that less meaning. That scene alone made Darth Vader badass again.
Right.
And I don't think they want to take that away from the fans. So there's a lot more stuff going on here, especially when plans are in motion to, what's the word I'm looking for here?
You're on your own on this one, buddy.
Uproot.
Ooh.
See? Uproot
Ooh.
the occupation.
Ooh, good one.
See?
Very nice. Very nice.
Because, while Andor's around, they're doing what they need to do. Corv is realizing that he's not following Andor. He's the wrong person. We've got Marva doing everything that we need to. Brasso is passing messages to and from Marva. There's news going around. There's flashbacks. There's all this stuff happening. And then the funeral starts. Early.
Way early. They went ahead.
Early.
I think they went ahead and started it at the traditional time.
They did, because they pushed it back.
Yeah, because the Empire, for their license to hold it,
Yeah.
pushed it back to like 4 o'clock or 3
Yeah.
o'clock or something like that. Well, the people on the planet said, "Screw you."
Now, I've seen a lot of things on Facebook, on Twitter, memes, GIFs, all about this scene.
Mm-hmm.
And Marva recorded a funeral speech.
Yes.
And
Beautiful speech.
oh, beautiful. I mean, that was a good 5 to 10 minute speech, right?
Yep.
I mean, that was like everybody was paying attention. Like, this is the voice.
Yeah. And what was really cool about it was, as they're going through this speech, they're doing cutaways.
Oh, yeah.
They're doing cutaways to the bitch. They're doing cutaways to Andor. They're doing cutaways to this guy. They're doing cutaways to the son.
I love that you referred to her as the bitch.
I don't know her name. I don't want to know her name because she's a bitch.
Mira.
They're doing a cutaway to the son. They're doing a cutaway to the 3 different groups of the funeral procession that are coming down the roads, and but they're interspacing parts of her speech through it, which I thought was really, really cool.
Well, some of the things that I've seen is the real hero of Bix Road, the Time Grappler. Now, if you don't know who the Time Grappler is by now, you've seen him good number of times before. He's the one who rings the Beskar bell, so to speak, or anvil.
The gong.
The gong, yes.
Dude is a trip too, man.
Headphones on, helmet on.
When they first showed him, I literally rewound 3 times. But because he was doing all this fancy stuff and just, he looked like the drummer from Metallica, going through a connection
Lars.
pit, Boing,
Well,
bing, bing, he was awesome.
So they use him multiple times throughout the series, and they use him in their everyday lives. He starts and ends the day. So he starts the day in the morning by banging on the what the hell is it? The
gong.
It's a Beskar anvil, is what it is. A Beskar anvil. And,
basically a gong.
and if you don't know what Beskar is, it's the metal that the Mandalorians use for their armor. Virtually indestructible. It can go up against a lightsaber and not have any problems. Okay? Which I love that they do that. But he apparently is the real hero of this story because he is the one who signifies the start of the funeral, and the daughters of Ferrix preparing for the funeral. They're getting everything ready, and Miro, or as JT refers to her, the bitch, says, "What's going on?"
I don't know.
Luthen is roaming the streets at the same time. Everybody is starting to gather all over the place. And we start seeing the citizens of Ferrix start playing musical instruments, and they start marching the streets. And they're not just marching on one. They're all converging on Bix Road.
They're coming from 3 different directions.
Oh, yeah.
Each one has a different group. Each one has a drummer at the beginning of it.
Yeah.
Setting the rhythm for the walk. Very, 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 very mournful speed.
Kind of like, what was it, the old school marching onto the battlefield in the Civil War.
The drummer.
The drummer just leading the way. Boom, boom, boom. But the entire time you're hearing the anvil going in the background, too.
Yep.
Now, with that being said, on Rick's Road, okay, they all converge in the center. And that's when they play the message of Marva.
Right.
And
right in front of the hotel.
Right in front of the hotel.
Yep.
And this was the coolest thing. And mind you, again, if you haven't watched it, watch this scene because it's a very powerful scene. It's basically a message of her saying, I used to do this, 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 and this, and I gave up.
I went to sleep.
Yeah. I slept. Yeah. I slept. But then she said, wake up. Wake up and fight.
And the smart thing she did in this speech was she waited till just towards the very end of it to even mention the Empire.
Oh, yeah.
So anybody who didn't know her, a.k.a. all the people in the Empire that were there,
yep,
had no idea what the hell she was talking about. But everybody in the crowd, you could see them, especially the older people.
Yep.
You could see them just kind of shaking, you know how you see it when somebody's giving a speech. You got people in the crowd shaking their head like, yeah, okay, I got you.
Doing okay. Yeah.
So it was a very, very subtle call to war.
Yes.
Until the very end of the speech when the Empire guy tried to stop it by throwing his coat over because he's like, fight the Empire.
There is and this is what I loved about it, and I made sure that I wanted to quote this. Quote, there is a darkness spreading through the galaxy. The Empire is a disease that thrives in darkness when they sleep.
Yep.
Fight. Yep. Get up and fight the Empire. And she just kept going. Fight the Empire. And that's when the hologram got cut off. B2EMO, which is her droid, gets knocked over. And that was when the citizens of Ferrix went, how dare you, sir?
And the reason I was talking about the brick.
Yep.
Her brick. Was because the guy that was holding her brick busted 3 different people upside the face with it.
It was wonderful, wasn't it?
It was beautiful.
It's like, Boom.
I mean, that was the perfect ending for her.
That was
The
Brasso who
perfect
did
ending.
that. The
Yeah.
big guy,
That was,
Brasso.
that was the perfect freaking ending for her to
Oh,
be in the fight that is basically going to kick off
yep.
everything.
Yep.
And
And
it was awesome.
at the same time, the time grapplers start banging on the anvil again, signifying to fight, battle. He's just going at it. And they're sending stormtroopers up the tower, and all of a sudden you see stormtroopers falling.
One and this was this was the thing. As soon as he did it, I'm like, uh-oh, I feel bad for that stormtrooper because they only sent one. They sent one freaking guy to go up there and shut him up.
He kicked
And
him so far.
He gets to the top of the tower and he just kicks him right square in the chest. And they flash back to the lieutenant that sent him, and all he sees is,
Yep. We've got at the same time we've got Andor navigating through the crowd. He's trying to get to the hotel. We've got explosions going off. We've got Imperial soldiers getting killed. We've got innocent civilians being killed. We've got turncoats of those civilians who are turning people into the Empire being killed. It's just mass chaos. Riot control is getting pushed back, and there's explosions happening everywhere. Thanks to the sun, because hey,
yes, I was just gonna say, thanks to the sun,
yeah,
because the bomb that he had, a beautiful throw.
Lovely throw,
truly lucky where it landed.
It went
and
flying.
Then it went off. A crate of freaking grenades fell over. Grenades fell all over the place and somehow got activated.
Oh, it was wonderful, wasn't it?
And just started blowing up, and and this whole time, Andor is working his way through the hotel because he actually got around to the back stairwell, I think.
Yes, because
and worked his way up through the hotel, found Bix, and Bix is like, "No, they're gonna get mad."
Yeah, she was very against it at first, but he's like, "I'm not leaving without you."
Yep.
Not leaving without you. And they finally get to was it
the junkyard?
Yeah, the junkyard, and they find one of the ships that is up and running, and he gets Bix on the ship, and he also gets B2 EMO on the ship as well.
They already had B2 EMO.
Yeah,
they dragged him from the battle scene because you've got one of the daughters of Ferrix who is going to pilot the ship.
Yep.
You've got the guy who carried her brick. I can't think of his name. You've got Jax's son.
Yes.
And the old guy who was there when Andor and the big guy met in the underground tunnel.
Yes.
And he was kind of their lookout.
Yep.
He's the one that dragged B8 over and was filling up the ship. He's there. He's like, "I'm not going with you. Y'all are going by. Go do your thing.
You got. I'll find you." That's what he said. "I'll find you."
Yeah, that's what Cassian said to Bix.
Yep.
And to B8 or the robot.
Yep. And while
Too
that's all happening, we've got the chaos still happening in the town. Miro gets assaulted and gets almost blown up, but we have Cyril Karn, who is on the planet because he's still trying to find Cassian Andor to begin with. He saves her and pulls her off to the side and out of harm's way because, let's face it, he's in love with her. We know he's in love with her. I mean, come on. She's a pretty face. Pretty blonde hair face.
Mm-hmm.
He's her subordinate. Why not make a love interest for the Empire people?
They might as well have done it right there in the room.
Right?
Just the look between them.
Now, listen to me.
And it's been going on since the first interview, all the way back in episode, what was it, 8 or 9?
Yes. But at the same time, it's all good. We've got Cinta reuniting with Vel. Vel's like, "You're bleeding." Cinta's like, "It's not mine. It's not my blood. Don't worry about it. I took care of it." And
I love how she killed the guy. I loved that.
Oh,
that was awesome.
It was brutal. It was brutal, is what it was. So From there, we cut to Coruscant. Mon Mothma and her husband Further are introducing their daughter to Stakan Skulden and his mother because, hey, courtship. Why not? Then, of course, we have Luthen Rail on his ship escaping, leaving the planet, leaving Ferrix, and that's when Andor...
I knew something was up.
Gotta hand it to him.
I knew something was up as soon because he walks on the ship, says, basically, get us out of here, full tactical, blah, blah, blah. And the ship doesn't do anything.
Yep.
Ship doesn't talk to him. Lights don't come on. Engines don't start up. Nothing happens. And I'm like, ooh.
Yep.
And my mind's like, it can only be one of two. It's either somebody from the Empire.
Yeah, like somebody found him.
Right. Or it's Cassian.
Yep. And turns out it's Cassian.
Yep.
And
I love that scene.
I love how this scene went down. I really do. I love how it went down. I love how Cassian basically called Luthen Rail out on it and flat out said, "You came here to kill me, didn't you?" Without even missing a beat. You came here to kill me. He was honest.
I would be too, but
he was honest.
Son of a bitch, you came here to kill me.
And then Andor gave him a blaster.
His blaster,
and says, "Here I am." And the first thing
I love what he
says, I loved this.
Yeah, to quote him, either kill me or take me in.
Yep.
Either kill me or take me in.
And Rails,
you could see the tears. You could see the tears in his eyes.
Yeah.
As he was saying this.
And Luthen's response was, "What game is this? What game is this? What game are you playing here?" And he goes,
"No game.
No game. Either kill me or take me in."
And I love Luthen's reaction because at first he was set aback. He was like, "Whoa, wait, what?" Yeah. And then he just smiles,
which we know clearly because there's going to be a season 2 that he's recruiting him. He is. We know he's recruiting him.
Well, he just told him.
Yeah.
Andor just told him, "Either kill me or make me one of you.
Kill me or take me in. Pick one."
Yep.
Pick one.
He thinks about it. I like how they did it, though, because he didn't just, think for a second and then smile. He thought for a second, and then he looked down at the gun, and he kind of flipped it over, looking at it a couple of times and thinking. And then he looks up, and he looks at Cassian.
See, you had a problem, too.
Clip that. Looks at Cassian with a straight face, and then the smile comes.
Yep. And then of course,
how they end it.
And then of course it ends there. We see the credits until
the first time in this 12 episode series where they do a post-credit scene.
The first time in any Star Wars show where they do a post-credit scene.
Didn't we see post-credit scenes in Mandalorian?
No. No post-credit scenes in Mandalorian.
No?
Nope. The first post-credit scene, we see a planet in the background. And then we see a moon. Or is it a space station? It's too big to be a moon. Maybe.
Maybe show it.
Maybe it's too big to be a space station. I don't know. But it's being constructed by droids.
And they show it one time for like 2 seconds.
And we see a bunch of TIE fighters. And we see the machinery that they were building on Narkina 5 of the Death Star.
See the one piece.
The planet is Scarif. So clearly, we're in full construction mode.
Well, it's almost complete.
Yeah, almost,
When,
yeah.
when they pull back and they show the full thing, the Death Star is almost complete. Not like the second Death Star where there was like, a, a third of it that was done and the skeleton and everything else. This
Yeah.
thing was fully complete except for
Yes.
that little dish, like that little indentation disc that's on there.
Yes.
And that's what they were putting together. But it was neat how they did it because you've got the ship here, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got a layer here and 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 a layer here.
And it's all
that was
put together.
Extending out. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, I thought it was fantastic.
But they show the part that they were making for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
You'd think they would have featured that part just a little, like maybe shown it 2 or 3 times.
No,
in quick succession, but they just showed it one time for 2 seconds.
I think it would have given it away if they had done that. And the picture that the image that JT is referring to, I'll just transition real quick. There it is, right over there, top right, top of the screen there. You can see the different layers. Mm-hmm. Of what he was talking about. Now, mind you, this is just an artist rendering. It's not from the show itself, but you can see all the construction droids are there, and they're putting that baby together.
Right.
Woo! Oh boy! And all those little parts that they were building in that prisoner planet are all getting part of that laser. So we know shit's about to hit the fan.
Well, and when they put that part in, it looked like it was on some kind of a giant solar panel or something, because it was the part that they were making. It was put in between these panels to hold them down.
Yeah,
it was like a bracing element, but it looked like it was some kind of a solar panel or a reflective panel or something like that.
Well,
I found interesting.
Well, it wasn't the solar panel. That's for the laser.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Some kind of a solar panel or a reflective panel or something.
Yep. Yep.
So it was pretty neat.
So all in all, what, my friend, do you give these last 2 episodes of Andor?
I'm going 4.5 on both of them.
Ooh, very nice. Very nice indeed.
I'm going 4.5 on both of them because, like we talked about, I love how they closed almost everything out. Actually, I'll say they closed everything.
Yes.
Because it was the end of how do I put this? Basically, it was the end of all the old storylines and the pre-rebellion.
Okay. Yep.
It was the end of all of that, and then in episode 12, they started opening all the doors that they need to open to get us into season 2. And like you said, this episode was the perfect episode to launch us into season 2.
Oh yeah!
I cannot wait to see how they open season 2.
Hands down. And you know what?
4.5 on both.
I'm going 4.5 on both too, because it was amazing.
Yes, it was.
It was straight and to the point.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't leave you hanging. It basically it did open more doors. It did.
Yes. It closed a shitload of them, but it opened a bunch of them too.
Yeah. And, like we've been saying from the beginning, Andor is not just about Cassian Andor. It's about all the key players of the Rebel Alliance who helped form the Rebel Alliance. And by the way, this is only the first year in Andor's life before he's even recruited.
First year of a 5-year span.
5-year span, because 5 years before the Battle of Yavin. All in all, I will give this a 4.75 Rebel Alliance logo for the entire series. It was that good.
Very
I
nice.
loved it. And I loved how they tied everything together.
Yeah. Definitely.
What do you give it?
Before I give my score, I want to point out one thing that just popped in my head. And that is when the fight starts there at Ferric, on Ferric.
Yep.
If you look at the way that everything went down there, and the way, like you were talking about, civilians getting killed and that whole scene, you think about it and you go back in time.
Yes.
And you look at all these other major episodes of how things got started.
Yep.
And that's one of the things that I have liked about this entire series is how close to real life they kept things.
Oh, yeah. Very grounded.
I loved that about this series. Because of that, I'm giving it a 4.9.
Woo!
4.9. The series, and granted, at the beginning in the first couple of episodes, I was complaining about pacing and rhythm and all that stuff. But I think ultimately, when you look at the whole thing, I think they did that on purpose.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
In the first couple of episodes, kind of keep us off our toes, to keep us wondering, to keep us hanging on, maybe. And when they pushed the go button, they pushed the fucking go button.
And they went, let's do this shit.
And we went from 0 to 120 in 2.5.
And it was fantastic.
And it was fantastic from start to finish. It kept it so close to reality.
Yes.
Which was really neat because they normally don't do that.
Yes.
You cannot lay on my keyboard. So because of that, I'm going to give it a 4.9.
I love it.
I will honestly say, and this will blow your mind.
Uh-oh.
I will honestly say I enjoyed this series for this season more than any of the Mandalorian episodes or series.
Wow.
And y'all know how I feel about Mandalorian.
Oh, clearly. Look at the shirt.
Yeah, baby.
Look at the shirt. My friends, that is our podcast for Andor. Our review, our take on it, things that we've tied together, spoilers alert all over the place. So yay to that. And of course, next week, we will be reviewing the Marvel one-off of Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. And then we'll be on a hiatus for a little bit.
Till after the New Year.
Yeah, till after the New Year, because we got Christmas. I won't be around for a week, so we'll be doing what we need to do. But yeah, we'll be on hiatus, and I've got some recording to do because I'm in the process of recording another audiobook. So yay for me. But
quit bragging.
Hey, it's fun, all right? Fun, anybody can do it. So anyway, well, I wouldn't say anybody, but yeah, you know what I mean.
Right.
The other thing is the Sully Show will be live tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. We are finishing our first round of Christmas movies to see who is the best Christmas movie for 2022. And we actually have to do a quick one, a quick poll before that because we need 2 more movies because we're not even. If we do the second round, we've only got winners of 3 after that, and we kind of have to do 4. So we have to add 2 more movies. So we're going to do that within the first hour. So it's going to be wonderful. So we can make the brackets even, and it'll be great. Great. And I think what I'll do is the poll will be a percentage, whichever one comes in first, second, third, and fourth. Obviously, first and second will go against each other, and we'll go from there. Kind of like a wild card, so to speak. But the Sully Show will be live tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. We will see you guys next week for Guardians of the Galaxy and Avenger Pretenders. That's right. Avenger Pretenders. We're here. We're queer. We're everywhere. It's fun. Get used to it. For JT and myself, we will see you guys next week. Have a great one. And we'll see you tomorrow. It's going to be wonderful. Yay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.